Right, this is a quick walk around video for a Lexus RX 450 hybrid. This is a very nicely specified car. This is the SEL Premier. As you can see here, it's on a 61 plate. Finished in silver with a lovely black leather interior on the car. What I'll do is I'll go around the car for you. I parked it in the shade. It's very bright in the sun, so sometimes that glares off the paint. So if you see sunlight drifting in, I apologise, I'll try and go around that for you, but the car, as I say, is absolutely beautiful condition. Around the front of the car here, all the lenses, lights, no cracks, no condensation. As you can see there low down, you've got that kind of silver looking garnish in the front trim. That's part of this particular specification of car. Very, very, very clean and tidy. Very few marks on the car. It's completely original. And bonnet here, you can see all but free of any stone chipping. I'm sure there must be one or two there somewhere, but they're very, very hard to see. It's extraordinarily clean. Come down, just squat down here near side of the car. Hopefully you can see there, it's pretty much mirror smooth on the flanks. Absolutely beautiful condition. Front wing, absolutely unmarked there. Front alloy, not a scuff or a mark anywhere to be seen on that wheel. Wing mirror housing again, completely unmarked. There's no scrapes or it's not caught anything at all. But as you can see, the panel work there is absolutely beautiful. Rear alloy wheel again, really, really clean. If I was really nitpicking, this has been over the top really. Just got that tiniest little mark there, but you know, that is so that's been very, very hard on the car. I'll just come down this angle again, just to squat down, just to show you just how clean and crisp that actually is. Again, the Premier comes with these roof rails as standard. There's some roof bars as well to go with those, or crossbars, whatever they're called, which are in the boot of the car, so that will come with the car as well. Fabulous looking vehicle. Can't see any marks on the rear bumper there at all. And offside of the car, as with the near side, is absolutely mirror smooth. It's been really beautifully capped. Offside alloy, absolutely unmarked. And then panel work again is really extraordinary. Final alloy on the front here, again unmarked. Wing mirror housing up there, as with the other ones. Other one rather, there's only two of them, is completely marked as well. So externally, we're looking at a car in absolutely fabulous condition and a really, really good looking car. So coming to the boot area of the car here, just to show you, we've got in, all the bits are intact. You've got the tonneau cover there, you can see. Nice sign of ownership. It's had the rubber boot liner fitted as well, which protects the carpets underneath. As you can clearly see there, you've got some proper Lexus roof bars to go on top of the car as well, which the gentleman left with the vehicle for us. Obviously the tailgates are electric, so it's just a press the button just to show it all working, which of course it will be, but it's nice to see it in practice. You can do it off the button on the tailgate. There's a button in the car, off the key, or you can even do it the old-fashioned way and do it yourself. Coming to the back of the car now, offside rear door card, looks almost as new. In fact, it looks like new in all honesty. It's a full set of original Lexus mats in the car, but everything is in fabulous, fabulous order here. The leatherwork looks beautiful. Back of the seats, which can quite often on any car take a bit of a battering, sort of kids' feet bashing into them, but they're all very, very good indeed. Door card, apologise because it's dark over there, a bit grainy. Again, looks absolutely superb. Again, part of the spec, you've got these lovely big rear screens, and behind there, hopefully you can see, you've got your fold away headphones as well, and exactly the same with this one here. And just to show you behind there, you've got your headphones which tuck away nice and neatly as well in the car. So it's all in really terrific order. So I sat in the car, engine running, as has been all the way through the video, just to show you. I mean, it is in really beautiful condition. Passenger door card there, all spot on. You've got the memory settings there. You've got for some bizarre reason you've got up to 3 you can memorise. A little bit OTT. Dashboard is in fabulous condition and beautifully specified, and quite astonishingly well made cars. Sat nav, you can see, fully functional. Let's say if I pop that into reverse, you've got a lovely rear parking camera, which is as clean as a whistle and clear as a bell as well. You've got a little button you can press there, which goes down the near side of the car. Got a nutty little feature, so sort of things that are hidden away, like rocks on the driver otherwise, you can see those more clearly. But it's a really simple, easy to use dashboard. Hopefully you can see in there, Mark Levinson stereo on these particular vehicles, which is of a very, very high quality indeed. But the interior is in absolutely stunning condition. Just pull this one back a touch for you. You can see there, heated and air conditioned seats, and they work absolutely perfectly. And then you've got this new almost like sort of mouse pad style operation for the car. For old dinosaurs like me, I prefer to press buttons, but I've had a couple of them now, and slowly but surely even I can get used to it. It actually works really rather well despite my reservations. Coming across the main dashboard, you can see there, engine's running. There's no warning lights on the car at all, and you can see 54,582 miles is currently recorded. Obviously big specs. You've got auto lights, auto wipers, hands-free telephone, various of the menus you can scroll through with, you know, cruise control and everything else. But it really is in fantastic order. It was nice, again, as part of this particular model, you also get this heads-up display, which I hope you can see on the camera in front, that little blue rectangle with a 0 in front, which suggests we're doing 0 miles an hour, which is a good idea when you're trying to film, but really nice to use. So you just drive along and just got instant speed information directly in your line of sight. Just to show the driver's door card as well, sorry, I actually forgot to do this. Again, all looks really nice. I mean, they're just astonishingly well made, these cars. It's, you know, it takes sort of premium quality to another level. You see there, driver's seat, all the electrical seat adjustments all in fine order. Leather seat looks absolutely superb, unbelievably comfortable as well. They really are, especially on long trips. On days when you get hot days like today with the air conditioned on, turned on, it really does take away kind of the disadvantage of black leather, which is obviously can get quite hot, but that's not an issue with this one. And again, part of the spec, you've got this lovely big electric sunroof, which is a rarity on a lot of modern cars. What should follow this video will be a road test of this very car. Right, this is a quick road test for a Lexus RX 450 hybrid. This is the SEL Premier model, or Premium, I never remember which actually, terrible isn't it? Mileage at the start of this brief road test is 54,583 miles, and the registration number of this particular car is CE61UER. The reason we do the road tests, as I say in all of them, is basically we want people to see our cars in operation prior to coming to see us. That way, if there's any issues with the vehicle, we can relay them back to you. The fact is, the internet has made it much easier to search for cars, especially ones, you know, of a high specification, as with this one. But it also leaves you open to travelling for many hours to go and see a car, only to be hugely disappointed when you get there to find out there's an issue with the car, or it's misdescribed, it's not the model it says. So that's why we do it, really, because we've been on the receiving end ourselves, and it can be really frustrating. Also worth pointing out, the road test is done on exactly the same road test route as any prospective buyer will go on. That way we'd hope it would be representative of what you should feel yourself when you come and see and drive the car. So, starting with the engine of the vehicle, or power unit, I suppose it should be called these days. You've got a wonderful Lexus V6 engine. You know, as soon as you press a button, everything becomes active. engine doesn't generally kick in straight away. It normally starts kind of, I suppose, in silent mode, you'd call it, on the battery, and then the engine will kick in after a few seconds or so. But the engine's absolutely perfect. Clearly it's a low mileage one, or relatively low mileage, so I wouldn't expect any issues, but there aren't any at all. There's no warning lights on the dashboard relating to the engine or any other part of the car for that matter. What the videos can't really get across is just how nice these cars are to drive. This engine is a wonderful, wonderful unit. You know, it's so refined, but more of that in due course. You know, I'll get the kind of the critical things out the way to begin with. The engine obviously works in harmony with the Synergy part of the hybrid system, and it's absolutely seamless. It really is an extraordinary experience when you drive these cars. If you're used to hybrid systems, then I wouldn't need to tell you that, but those will jump out of what, you know, a more conventional vehicle, usually something sort of turbo diesel and, you know, an automatic gearbox. This will come as something of a culture shock, because it has this elastic rubber band feel to it as it accelerates, but without any jarring. It's the most bizarre experience, but a wonderful, wonderful one as well. Because the gearbox, which is what I come on to next, which is a CVT gearbox, you know, incredibly tough and durable. We've never touched one, even with, you know, massive mileages. You know, it's a hugely over-engineered thing, but it works perfectly in conjunction with the engine and the hybrid system. It just gives you this, as I said, this wonderful, you just put your foot down, you get this lovely roar from the engine, although it's muted, and it all just works together beautifully well. Point of the videos, pick up on any criticise anything or find anything wrong with it. There's nothing in the powertrain of the vehicle at all. It's absolutely superb. Car tracks bullet straight. There's no vibrations coming back through the steering wheel at all, but it literally feels like brand new to drive. The steering has absolutely no wear in it at all. It doesn't feel as though it's, you know, turned a lock from side to side off the production line. It's got that really solid feel about it. And likewise, the suspension of the car, because obviously it's the top of the range one, you've got the air suspension, you've got an absolutely astonishing ride. It is very, very comfortable, but it is also very controlled. So tighter corners, the thing doesn't lurch and keel over. I've got a right hand corner now, which, you know, I'll go a fraction quicker than I would do normally just to turn it in, and literally you turn, there's no fuss, it doesn't pitch and wallow and all sorts. It's absolutely spot on. If you hear something moving in the back, that's the roof bars to the top. Unfortunately, I should have secured those, so they're moving around in the boot area, for which I apologise. Also, as I'm driving along, just listening out for any kind of mechanical issues from underneath, where you get a few little knocks from sort of rubber bushes that might have worn, but there's absolutely nothing on the car. It drives absolutely, genuinely beautifully. Obviously, you know, its forte as a you know, very refined cruiser. So again, part of the test is just listening out for kind of wind noises that shouldn't actually be there. And you know, it could be that you had a, you know, windscreen replaced that hadn't been fitted quite right or sealed right, or someone damaged a door seal or, you know, sunroof seal. But it's very, very quiet in here, exactly what you'd expect from one of these cars. Just going to get up to speed and check the cruise control function, make sure it's working as it should, which it is perfectly. And again, you've got the radar controlled cruise control system, so as I approach the car in front now, it's already just backing me off slightly, slowing me down so I don't go flying into the back of it. It's a really clever system and works absolutely perfectly. They are wonderful, wonderful cars for sort of long distance trips. Brakes on the car, again, really solid brake pedal, no pulsing, which is what you sometimes get if you've got walk discs or you know, sort of a bit of wear in them. Quite often you can find they sort of pulse up and down where the disc goes in and out slightly, and on sort of hard driven automatics that can be quite a common thing, but there's nothing on this at all. It's again absolutely spot on, and a sign of, you know, very good ownership, which is what we were aware of when we bought the car in. Looking around inside the car, I mean, first things first, again, the videos can't get across just how solid these cars feel on the road. They are quite brilliantly built cars. You know, and I always think the build quality is not, you know, when they're 3 years old and under manufacturer's warranty. It's when they're sort of 5-6 years down the line, you know, done 50,000 miles, 100,000 miles, and how do they stand up then? And this is where these are in a league of their own. You know, it is, you know, if you come and drive the car and you've never driven one, you'll know exactly what I mean, and you'll remember this part of the video, hopefully, because it really is a quite brilliantly built car. Obviously, specification-wise, it's, you know, it's got a huge spec. Every single button works perfectly in the car. Air conditioning is pumping out lovely cold air, and it's quite a muggy, warm night tonight. But we've got, obviously, with the specification car, you've got obviously the big screen sat nav with reverse parking camera, Mark Levinson stereo, which again is an astonishing unit to listen to. The sound quality is brilliant. So if you like your music, you'll like that. But it's all just nice, neatly laid out. It's not overdone, over stylized. You know, they've done a really lovely job of it. They really have, and it's all at a nice height, so your hand just naturally kind of reaches forward. You're not reaching too far for anything. The main binnacle of the car is a classic Lexus gear design. Sorry, in the sense that it's, you know, it's very classy, very nicely done, very easy to assimilate the information, take it in, and, you know, as I said, it's all working exactly as it should. Temperature gauge, by the way, is running just about a third or just above, which is what it needs to be or should be on any Lexus car, at maximum operating temperature. Obviously, again, on this specification car, you won't be able to see it on the video because you'll be out of the line of sight of it. You've got this really lovely heads-up display. So directly in front of me, although you can't see it, I've got my speed floating in the windscreen there, sort of a third of the way up, so I can clearly see the car in front, but I can also see the speed I'm doing instantaneously, and that's a really lovely feature. If you don't like it on, there's a button down there to turn it off, but God only knows why you'd want to do that. It doesn't get in the way. It's not you know, it doesn't annoy, detract in any way. It's quite the opposite, actually. And then, of course, we've got multifunction steering wheel with all the various functions, you know, hands-free telephone, that kind of stuff. But, you know, a wonderful car. I mean, it's clearly its natural competitors, as I said, most of these videos will be, you know, possibly the top-end Volkswagen thing, whatever they call it. You've got Mercedes ML, BMW X5, Audi Q7. Problem with all those is, you know, they're all good cars. They're nice to drive. You know, that's not it's not to say they're not. It's just the reliability. All of them at this age certainly will be running, you know, big turbo diesel engines, and we all know that you know, the government's clamping down on diesel, you know, emissions these days, and rightly so after all this time. But it's also the fact that they're so complicated. You know, to get the power, most of them are running twin turbochargers now, so that's double the trouble. Obviously, you've got your EGR valves, air mass meters. There's awful DPF filters on them. You know, we've had them. We won't sell them anymore because they're just so troublesome. Whereas these things are, you know, brilliantly reliable. Not to say they can't go wrong. Of course they can, and you know, it will at some time in its life. But they're so much rarer, and it's, you know, it's genuinely a surprise when it happens, which is quite the contrary to the, you know, the aforementioned. But also, it's the real world economy. You know, I've done various long trips in all of those cars, and on the open road, day to day, these are far more economical than any of those that I've driven. But it's the driving experience which I love. It's so smooth. You don't get that big rumble from a diesel up front, flat and flaccid and horrible. You've got a lovely sweet bellow from a wonderful V6 engine. Basically, I can't fault the car in any way, shape or form. I really can't. There's nothing on it, and it's not to say I wouldn't. If there was something wrong with it, I'd tell you, but I can't find anything on this car to criticise. If I've missed anything on the video, please don't hesitate, do give us a call and I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.